Japan, the land of the rising sun. Situated on an archipelago of over 6,000 islands in East Asia, Japan is home to over 127 million people who share a rich history and culture. The first settlers in this chain of islands were traced back to the Jomon period, which began around 10,500 BC. However, an official Japanese state was not established until the 8th century. Nara became its first capital. Designed based on the Chinese capital, it served as the emperor's home for a number of years. Eventually, continuous wars and conflicts between clans forced the emperor to move the capital to Kyoto and eventually led to the rise of the Minamoto clan. The clan served as the shogun, or military leader of the country. As a result, the emperor's power was diminished, and the samurai emerged as a new caste that imposed its rules over the land. During these formative years, surrounding countries such as China and Korea had a distinct influence on the Japanese language, art forms, and the emergence of Zen Buddhism in Japan. However, after the Battle of Sekigahara in 1600, a new family power reigned, the Tokugawas, who re-established the capital in Edo, present-day Tokyo. This period was marked by extreme conservatism, protectionism, and nationalism. Rulers barred most foreign influence from their country, and the Japanese people were forbidden to travel outside its borders. This gave traditional Japanese arts an opportunity to flourish. During the Edo period, new forms of theater were created. Geisha became highly sought-after skilled artisans, and the Japanese printmaking technique called ukiyo-e appeared. Then, in 1853, the Americans entered Tokyo Bay to propose a trade agreement with Japan. Shortly thereafter, power was restored to the emperor, and Japan became an active part of the modern world. Once again open to outside influences and trade, Japanese art forms began incorporating ingredients, plants, and materials from other nations, in particular the Western world. Despite these newer influences, the samurai spirit and Zen Buddhism remain important elements of modern life. Bushido, or the way of the warrior, was a code adhered to by the samurai. It was heavily influenced by the introduction of Zen Buddhism, which focused on achieving spiritual enlightenment and a calm mind, as well as Confucianism, which emphasized social order and loyalty. This philosophy is evident in the study of the various art forms. The Japanese often demonstrate great respect and loyalty toward their teachers and practice their forms repetitively until they become second nature and can be achieved with a quiet mind. For example, Shodo, Japanese calligraphy, is considered a fine art. Mastery of Shodo entails repetitive practice of the various character strokes. This takes much discipline and is viewed as a way of building one's character. Once students have mastered the essential strokes of the brush, they begin to express their personalities and feelings through more stylistic calligraphy. In contrast to Shodo, origami, the Japanese art of paper folding, makes use of sharp angles and straight lines. With over 150 patterns available, it is often taught to students beginning in kindergarten to help them develop manual dexterity, logical thinking, and creativity. Once again, we see art as a means of character and intellectual development. In addition to Buddhism and Confucianism, a unique religion developed in Japan called Shintoism. It is a polytheistic religion that strives to improve human relations, increase happiness in life, and emphasize the importance of respecting nature. Part of appreciating nature is admiring its serenity and deriving meaning from emptiness. Dry landscape gardens consist of thoughtfully placed stones and raked gravel that are meant to help the viewer enter into a state of peacefulness. This type of Japanese garden is characterized by vast sections of empty space, which are intended to foster meditative states of mind. This corresponds with Zen Buddhism, which values the void. However, sometimes the silence is meant to hold great meaning, as opposed to nothingness. For example, let's consider hogaku, traditional Japanese music. Instruments such as taiko drums, shamisen, shakuhachi flutes, and koto capture the essence of this unique music. While there are many forms of traditional music, they are typically characterized by sparse rhythms that include ma, or intervals between sounds. Since Japanese culture often encourages individuals to conceal their true emotions, this silence offers a time for the listener to consider how the artist might be feeling. This also goes along with the concept called mono no aware, in which feelings are derived from artistic expressions. Japanese art expresses a range of feelings, but is particularly sensitive to transformations. A considerable amount of artistic expression within the Japanese culture highlights the beauty of impermanence. Entire festivals are centered around celebrations of the changing seasons. During Hanami, the cherry blossom festival, families and colleagues come together for a picnic under the cherry blossom trees. Japanese gardens are designed with all seasons in mind. And Japanese cuisine features seasonal ingredients and artistic displays of edible art. Perhaps the best example of this appreciation for impermanent things is captured in haiku, Japanese poetry. Haiku are short but powerfully expressive poems about nature that follow a 5-7-5-syllable pattern. For example, Arakida Moritake wrote,
落下枝に帰ると見れば胡蝶かな.
An orphaned blossom returning to its bow somehow. No, a solitary butterfly. There are some defining principles of Japanese aesthetics that are present in many of the traditional Japanese art forms. Bigaku refers to the Japanese sense of beauty, which is quite unique from other cultures. Its most important values include iki and wabi-sabi. Iki refers to original, refined, and sophisticated people or things. Kimono are prime examples of elegant Japanese design. They are often passed down through the generations as important family heirlooms and are distinct from Western clothes in that they are not tailored to the individual wearer. Wabi-sabi refers to the beauty in imperfection. Ikebana, or the Japanese art of flower arranging, is an example of wabi-sabi. It often uses simple rustic vases as opposed to more vibrant or colorful vases, since a vase may express the natural beauty of the earth in which the flowers grow. Unlike Western floral bouquets, which tend to be full and fairly symmetrical, Japanese floral arrangements may be arranged asymmetrically and capture the beauty of simplicity, as well as the natural characteristics of the flowers. The Japanese regularly seek harmony in their relationships, the world around them, and within their own minds. One of the locations that immerses individuals in a harmonious environment is a Japanese garden. These gardens aim to replicate natural surroundings by including elements such as stones, water, bridges, and koi. Unlike formal European gardens, Japanese gardens are designed with intentional unpredictability in mind. They do not subscribe to a particular defined pattern, but instead appear to be natural. Japanese gardens often serve as the backdrop for the tea ceremony and connect everyday life with the ceremonial world. The tea ceremony room is considered a sacred space in which social hierarchies do not exist. Even samurai who participated in this ceremony were expected to leave their swords at the entrance. The ritual of the tea ceremony ties together many of the other traditional Japanese art forms, including calligraphy, flower arranging, and kimono. It also introduces the concept of omotenashi, the spirit of Japanese hospitality. Guests are treated with great warmth and respect, and every detail is dedicated to anticipating the needs of the guest and creating a peaceful experience. In the case of the Japanese tea ceremony, this means that every detail is attended to, both in setting up the space to receive the guests and in serving the guests accordingly. Every step has a purpose, so there are no wasted movements. During the ceremony, participants remain silent and present in the moment. The worries of the outside world are left behind and are replaced by an appreciation of life's smallest details, the path through the garden leading to the ceremony, the designs on the teacups, the slightly bitter taste of the matcha tea coupled with the sweet taste of the accompanying treats. At the end of the ceremony, the host leaves the area, enabling the guests to reflect on their experience. Japanese artistic expression is both simple on the surface and complex in its meaningful intricacies. With greater understanding of the types of Japanese artistic expressions, as well as the historical and cultural influences on them, you can begin to fully enjoy the true Japanese experience.